Welcome back, everybody. This is MrLlamaSC here, and we are going into part 4 of Platinum Tuesday, though it is all going to be on this Wednesday. And I just want to say, start sending in some more replays. Just a quick reminder to everybody, any race, anything that you feel you need improvement on, any league, send in the replays. You can go to my YouTube, youtube.com/MrLlamaSC, or if you're already watching this on my YouTube, you can just go on my channel. I have a featured video of how to submit a Making It Stick replay. It's quite easy. You just give me the drop. You can even leave the drop.sc in a comment below if you want, and I will pick it up and use it in my next stream, which is a daily stream, Sunday through Thursday. Sunday bronze to silver, Monday gold, Tuesday plat, Wednesday diamond, and Thursdays is masters players. So just something to note. And we are going to be following Chinny, the blue Protoss. So now we are moving into a PvP, and we have not seen much Protoss at all so far in the stream today, at least for the plats. So it's good to see a PvP. I haven't even been able to really go over a PvP in a while. So, gonna go ahead and get that scout out here from Chinny. And trying to block possibly. You do not need to scout on 9. So that's just a quick little note right there. A 9 scout does not give you much more information unless he's 2-gating you. I suppose if you're scared of a 2-gate, maybe that'll be helpful for you. But other than that, you can generally scout on like a 12. That's when a lot of people will send out a scout. So we'll see the gas. And what are the things we're looking for? We are looking for, of course, to see if he's going to 4-gate us. So if he uses more than 3 chrono boost, he's not going to be 4-gating most likely. If you see a 3rd pylon go down, that's 1, that's 2. So if you see a 3rd pylon, he's not going to be 4-gating most likely. If you see, let's see, chrono boost on his gateways, multiple, he's not going to be 4-gating you. So that's the big thing to kind of look for. Of course, also if he takes a 2nd gas and mines from that 2nd gas for over 30 seconds, he's not 4-gating you. So there's that 2nd gas. He's using all his chrono boost up, and you should feel pretty safe that he's not 4-gating you. You, on the other hand, look like you're going for a 4-gate. And chrono boosting out that cyber core. Okay, so we'll see what you do end up doing here. You have saved up a lot. Of course, this is going to put you a little bit behind in the worker count. So what's the aggression that you're going to do to make up for this, right? That's kind of the question right now. And need to be making probes. Need to be making probes. We're not making probes. No probes. Are we doing a 4-gate? Money's sitting there. So you're going for the 2-gate stalker, right? Which will give you 3 stalkers, but you're a little late on that. So definitely something that I would focus on. And you didn't need to save up this chrono boost like this. I don't know if you're trying to play mind games or if you're just kind of slow with it, but see, you're still, I guess you're at 20 probes now. I didn't even see you get more probes. But you still want to be a couple more than 20 probes. So you still could have probed a little faster, chrono boosted those out a little bit quicker. And now you're going with this 2-gate. You want to start exploring around with these stalkers. And there you go. That's exactly what you're doing. Not sure why you're exploring in your base, but that's good because you can kill off any pylons that your opponent's doing. Yada yada. Plus, stalkers are the fastest unit, I think, in the Protoss army. So in PvP, your stalkers should be completely fine, especially in the gateway units. You should be completely fine just moving around like this. Until, I guess, warp prisms would be faster than stalkers. I would imagine so, because those things are crazy fast once you get the speed upgrade, I'm saying. So we go into a 3-gate robo off of this. Interesting choice. That wasn't like a diss or anything. It's just saying. Interesting choice. And push up, no expansion from our opponent. Okay. Alright, so now what did we see from our opponent there? We saw Couple sentries it looked like. Yep. So 2 sentries, a couple zealots, and a stalker. So it looks a lot like what your army was right there. You have a couple more stalkers. Of course, don't get supply blocked. And pumping out an immortal here. So what's our observer going to see? That was a great job. Sprinting this guy out and heading right over to your opponent's base. You can get a scout of what he's doing. And you both supply blocked at 42. And he has an observer there, so you need to be careful. You need to be careful. Ouch, gonna lose that guy. Oh? Maybe? Are you sending him home or not? Uh-oh. Okay, so taking expansion now behind this. I like that. And your expansion's actually ahead of your opponent there. So, good job. You probably could have taken that a tiny bit sooner. I mean, like, just a tiny bit, but nothing too dreadful. Something that you do want to look for right now is if your opponent is expanding. If your opponent's not expanding and you're probing like you are, chrono boosting out all these probes, going up to like 35 probes, whatever it is, and he hits you, you lose, right? I mean, you do have some decent energy for force fields, which will be nice. But you'll be in a lot of trouble if you are probing hard. So that's something that you'll see a lot of Protoss players do. Darn. Sorry. That's something that you'll see a lot of Protoss players do. Is they will Protoss players is they'll check, they'll see no expansion yet, and they'll cut probes. They'll stop at like 29, 30, like 28, 29, whatever it is, and then just prepare with a lot more units because they know their opponent's going to have to go all in, or they're going to take a later expansion much later, and then that'll give them, of course, that stronger early force, but not the economy. They won't have as many probes. So it's fine to cut probes if you see your opponent not going for expansion and you are. And then you probe when you feel safe. So I'm going to have to hop on those gas, starting your robotics bay. Always good for sure. Throwing down some additional gates. I like it. I like the macro here. Robotics bay could have been a little earlier for sure, but I'm not going to complain too much. And starting a Colossus, good. So Colossus, getting those Colossus out, always such a big part of this matchup. Because, hey, you really need... What's that power? Interesting. Colossus are just so good. That's so much DPS of the army right there. So, a lot of times, with the right positioning, whoever has the Colossus is in a great position. Okay, so we're working on all this stuff. Everything's looking okay. Probes. Sorry, probes. We aren't making any probes. Haven't been making probes for a decent amount of time. Also, Colossus, okay, there we go. You're good on that. Getting that guy up. No scouting. You needed to remake an observer there. In that little downtime you had before your robotics bay finished, when you had the robotics facility, you should have chrono boosted out an observer to get back over towards space because, hey, you have absolutely no vision of your opponent right now. And that's not very good. That's not what we want. We want to have some vision. So you should be ahead, though, because you got that earlier expansion. And now you're starting to probe up. You could have been probing up a little bit faster, a little bit earlier. But I'm not going to complain too much. And you get over there. You see he hasn't taken a third, I guess. Nothing crazy there. Colossus continuing to pump. And I'd say this is a good time to go to a poke, for sure. That's a decent-sized army. You know you had your expansion down before your opponent. A poke would be really good right now. So that's something to just kind of think about. Especially because you're getting this thermal lance that's done upgrading. Waiting for this +1, that's a little late. I'm not saying it's late, but it'll take too long until you. I'd say a poke would be better to hit before that. Okay, 44 probes. Okay. Can't complain about 44 too much. You could make a couple more. You're still ahead of your opponent by 10, but you could still have probed a little bit, a little more, a little faster. And now when you do this poke right here that you would hit, especially with 3 Colossus, great time to poke. You could hit this poke, and then you could start maybe taking a third behind it, you know? You could start doing things, because look at all of this supply. Yum, yum, yum. And now you're going with the poke, and you're sending 2 observers with it. Interesting choice. But it just could have been so much earlier that we did this. You could have been in such a better position than you're already in. So I already feel like you can win this game right now. Assuming you don't get terrible positioning, but you're not. Oh, so you saw the warp prism coming in. Warp in some zealots. I'd go with stalkers, so you could actually start attacking this. Maybe another round of warp-ins. Oh, we're supply blocked. Not good, not good. Okay, so you pulled your entire army back just to deal with that. I would have continued to poke. Now you know his army has even less in it right there. And supply blocked for a little bit too long right there for sure. And now you're going to get really supply blocked. But you could have continued that poke right there and been in a great position. So I just want to show you what he had. He had 2 Colossus. That one just popped out. He had 2 Colossus and 1 Immortal, 3 Stalkers, and some Zealots and a couple Sentries. That's all he had. That was his entire army versus this massive beast. But how is he winning right now? I like the third, by the way. How is he winning right now? Well, he's not winning, but how is he going to get back in this? By you not pressuring him. By you not trading armies, by you not doing damage, and letting him build back up, get back into this macro game. That's, right there, going to be huge. Whew. Sorry, I apologize. A little late. So that right there is going to be big. And see, you backed off and you didn't even poke. You completely back up into your base. You have warp gate cycles, I think. Nope, you're good on that, but you're starting to float some money here, so maybe a couple more gates. Good. I mean, you're already on top of this stuff. Another Colossus, you know. Just make sure you're continuing to pop things out like that. But you could be in a better position. You could still be, just because you're in a good position doesn't mean you're in the best position. Just because I win a game of chess doesn't mean I can't play any better, right? And now we need to probe transfer over here to this third. Get that third up and running. You see he took a third as well. You have this Dark Templar here. You know, maybe start utilizing those DTs to get in there and do some damage. Or just push over, because hey, you know, you have your third up before him. You know your supply is better than his is right now. Just by the way this whole game's been going. You had your expansion up, your second, you had your third up, and you could be making more harvesters, making more probes. Where's our probes? We're not building any probes, right? So we could be making them right now, and that would be helpful. And still just building up this ball right here. Get out more Colossus. Start +1, +3. I'm gonna speed up a little bit because we're chilling right now, not really doing too much. You notice he took a third. You could possibly take a fourth, because you know his army's not as strong as yours. In fact, I would take a fourth. And of course, I would also push though, right? Maybe off of these upgrades right here. Your 3-1. Let's see what we got in terms of that. Okay, so one thing I would like to note, I love all the Colossus, yum yum yum, right? Tons of Colossus. But I think you may want to get a few more Zealots in with this army here. You want to have a little bit more tank. You just don't have much tank ability there at the front. But I mean, that's such a deadly army, right? So push over, okay. And we're going to see. So goal number 1 really quickly while we are watching this. I know you still have some decent amount of time in this game. But goal number 1... Oh. Goal number 1 is going to be... Does he have a fourth? No, he doesn't. Ah, engage, engage. So this is going to be a rough engagement for you now. Because he has these things to tank. Goal number 1 is building more probes. I think that'll be helpful once again for you. Goal number 2 is going to be poke. You need to poke, my friend. Poke, 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 poke. You have not been poking, and this is your first poke, and all of a sudden you poke and he has better upgrades than you. He got 4 upgrades, he has 5 upgrades. I mean, and he's had better upgrades, but you poked when he's already gone up to a double robo chrono boosting out Colossus. If you would have poked a lot earlier, you could have hit 5 Colossus versus 2 Colossus. Instead, you hit when his Colossus numbers were a lot higher, and that just made it a lot more difficult for you in general. I'd say that DT would be better off in this base killing probes. That's just personal opinion. But you can keep trying to go after these guys. Okay, get there. Okay, so have you taken a 4th yet? No, you have not. And now all of a sudden he's kind of evened it up, right? I mean, it's not quite even, and wow, you're way ahead in the worker count, so you should still be able to win this game. But you could be further ahead, right? This 4th base could have gone up that entire time that you were doing all of that, that giant battle. You could have this thing already fully saturated and be in a great position. So now you're going to transition over into Void Rays. Looks like okay. Keep up the upgrades here. You only have +1 ground armor. And if you're going to shift into air, maybe start getting there you go, +1 air. Right? Okay, let's see. So still no 4th base. I'd also recommend some Archons in this army, of course. You just need something up front to tank. You only have... How many Zealots do you have? 11 Zealots now. It's a little better, but in that last engagement you only had 9 Zealots, and so they died off really quickly. And that was pretty much it for those. Like, you made, they died really quickly, and then they could focus on your Colossus, and so your Colossus had to focus on his units a little bit longer than his Colossus had to focus on your units. And so that's advantageous for him, of course. So you see he's got Archons, okay, he's trying to warp in over here. And he has DTs as well. You've got cannons though, so you're fine. And still no 4th base. There we go. Just not taking the 4th, okay. So still no pokes though. Look at how many Void Rays we have. Yum yum yum. We could just mush over there to his base probably right now. But not many Colossus, so you're gonna have to be careful, right? And once again, you've waited forever to poke over there. You could have had a big warping of Zealots, something like that, to tank. But you're sitting at this no supply right here with a ton of money. And now all of a sudden he's ahead of you in supply. So this entire game you've been 40 supply ahead of your opponent. And all of a sudden you're just going to let him get ahead of you in supply. So just something to think about right there. You want to be able to hit, especially in mirror matchups when your supply is ahead. That's when you want to be able to do some damage, expand behind it, whatever it is. So now you got your 4th up, that's good. And yeah, PvP is actually fun, I actually like it. So here we go, we're going to have the engagement. And see how he's going to be able to get that surround. Now you have all these Void Rays on top of Archons. That's not good. And you're trying to focus down all these Colossus, and he's going to win this game, right? So just like that, and that's why Void Rays generally aren't the best. But if you were going to use them, I'd spread them out and have them focus